I'm Becky Streepy from Glue and Glitter, and today we're making baked vegan quesadillas. The base for these rich and creamy quesadillas is my homemade cashew queso. If you haven't made cashew queso before, I definitely recommend giving it a try. This recipe is kid tested. I have had children tell me that they cannot tell that it's made out of nuts, and it's super delicious. If you can't eat cashews or don't feel like making the queso from scratch, that's fine. You can substitute 2 cups of vegan cheddar shreds instead and just prepare the veggies for this recipe and it'll work just fine. Before you start cooking, turn the oven onto 425 and place 2 baking pans inside, and you want those baking pans to each be lined with a sheet of parchment paper. We're only making 4 quesadillas, but I like to use 2 pans because that gives me plenty of room to work with, and I think it makes it a lot easier. The way I like to make these is to make the queso first, set it aside, and then make the veggies, so that's what we're gonna do right now. The queso only needs a few simple ingredients. Start with a cup of soaked cashews. You don't need raw cashews, just any cashews will do the trick. As long as you soak them, they'll soften up and blend just fine. So put those cashews in the blender along with 1/3 cup of your favorite salsa. Any salsa will do it. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 2 cloves of fresh garlic. You can use more garlic if you want for a garlickier dip, it's really up to you. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then puree everything up until you have a completely smooth, creamy mixture. A couple of things about the blending process. First of all, I can't overstate enough that you need to keep blending. You don't want like a grainy queso because that's not gonna fool anybody. You want a really creamy mix. In a high-speed blender, this takes about a minute. If you have a regular blender though, you can totally make this queso. Just keep on blending. Blend for 30 seconds to a minute at a time. Stop and scrape down the sides and then blend again. You definitely want to give your blender breaks if you're going to be blending for a long period of time, because if you just let it run, you can burn out your motor and then you won't have any queso or a blender anymore. Once you have a totally smooth mixture, transfer that to a large bowl and set that aside. You'll need it later. Now it's time to make the veggie mix that's going to go into these. Heat a tablespoon of olive oil over medium-high in a large frying pan and add some garlic and onion. Saute those up until the onions soften and the garlic might start to brown a little bit, and that's when you'll add baby spinach. Cook the baby spinach, stirring until it starts to wilt, but not until it's totally wilted. So you can see in the video that you have some leaves that are already softened, but you have some leaves that look pretty much like they did when you first put them in, and that is perfect. When the pan is starting to look like that, that's when you'll add a cup of roasted corn and a cup of black beans. You can use canned or frozen roasted corn, it's totally up to you. If you use frozen, no need to thaw it, it'll thaw out plenty in the pan. Cook the veggie mixture, stirring until the spinach is fully wilted, and then you're done cooking. Turn the pan off and transfer the vegetables to the bowl that you put the queso in. Now stir it up so that you get the veggies and queso all mixed up together into a nice creamy mixture. Now we're ready to stuff those tortillas. So you need 4 large flour tortillas, and you're going to arrange them on those preheated baking pans that were in the oven. Divide the bean mixture into fourths, which is about 2/3 of a cup, and spoon that mixture onto 1/2 of the tortilla. So I like to do like a big pile just on 1/2 and then use a spoon to spread it out, but just on 1/2 because we're gonna fold these over. Speaking of folding these over, that's what it's time to do. Fold the tortilla over in half and then gently pat it down. You wanna kind of seal the quesadilla closed, but you don't wanna push so hard that filling comes, squooshing out. Repeat that process until you have 4 quesadillas, and then it's time to bake. You're gonna bake these in 2 rounds, flipping halfway through. The first round of baking is 7 minutes, and then it's time to flip. Now for the flipping, you just wanna be a little bit careful. These aren't gonna be super fall aparty at this point, but they're not totally sealed yet, so just take your time with the flipping. What you'll do is grab your spatula and then slide it under the open side of one of the tortillas and then kind of flip it up and over the seam. You know how your tortilla is folded in half, right? So there's the open part, this is the seam. Loop. Once they're all flipped over, it's time to bake them for another 5 to 7 minutes, just until they are nice and browned. When the quesadillas are done cooking, pull them out of the oven, but then let them cool for 5 minutes before you slice them. This cooling time is very important because the cheese is going to be very soft when you first take them out of the oven, and if you try to slice it then, your quesadillas might fall apart a little bit. That 5 minutes, it's really not that long, and it gives it a chance to just set up a little bit. You can slice with a knife, but I really like to use a pizza cutter for this. I feel like it gives a nice clean cut. And what you want to do is, just like when you flip them, slice them from the open side to the closed side. That's going to help keep the filling inside of the quesadilla. Once they're sliced, they're ready to serve. I like to serve these up with salsa and vegan sour cream for dipping. You can also do sliced avocado on the side or guacamole. Pretty much anything that you would eat with a quesadilla goes great with these vegan quesadillas. I hope that this video has answered all of your questions about how to make baked vegan quesadillas. If you have any questions that I didn't address in the video, feel free to drop them below. I'm always happy to help. And don't forget to rate and subscribe. Happy cooking!